It's March 8th, 2021, and I'm Michael Odom from Stay Awake. Just a few things was going on over the weekend. We have legislation through reform voting. 43 states and 250 bills have been introduced to suppress the vote. Republicans are complaining that there's more Democrats out there than there are Republicans, and it makes it difficult for them to win elections. Well, it's not difficult if you do the right things, say the right things, and do the right things. Send the right people to the primaries to be voted on. I'm not supporting Republicans, I'm not supporting Democrats, I'm supporting America and what we do. So it's time for us to look at people in full. For instance, the vote this weekend, the COVID-19 relief bill. 50 to 49 was the vote in the Senate. 50 Democrats, 49 Republicans. No one crossed the line to help this vote. That is to help the people. The bill is to sponsor to help the people. The Republicans don't seem to get that. So by one vote, it passed. The senator from Alaska had an emergency. His in-law died, if I'm not mistaken, so he had to fly back to Alaska. But voted strictly on party lines. And this is the type of government we have to get away from. This is not a Republican union. This is not a Democratic union. We are the United States. And the division that happens here is too much. It's 2021. This is not 1960. You know, they want to make sure that Biden doesn't succeed as president. And we can't do this. We have to get behind our president. So, H.R. 1 has been introduced, passed the House, and look up on it, research it, and they're trying to stop these 43 states from passing legislation to stop the stink, basically, to make it easier for people to vote, not harder. So H.R. 1 has passed the House and now it's in the Senate. But Google it, look up your senators, look at your government, and people get involved. Get involved because they want it harder for you to vote. They don't want you to vote because they want this world to be a terrible place. And we're better than this in the United States. Protect our right to vote. Protect our right to vote. 2020, don't let that go by the wayside. Let's continue to, let's get the bad people out of Congress, out of the Senate, out of the presidency. Mayors, government, stay involved, people. Look and see who's voting which way. And I don't mean to be political all the time, but the COVID, that's a pandemic. It's a disease that they turn into a political statement. People in Idaho are having a mask burning party to get rid of the mask. The mask saves lives. And it's time for us to continue wearing masks for a little while longer. You have Texas, Mississippi, Iowa, Montana already turned back and saying we're going to open our states fully. Having a great economy doesn't do any good if everyone has perished or is sick or in the hospital. They said by the end of May there'd be enough vaccination to vaccinate every adult in the U.S. That's just the vaccination. Getting it in people's arms and everything, they're thinking by the end of July. So just a little while longer. just a little while longer, and we can all be safe, and we can then have a mass burning party. I'll light the fire, I'll pour the gas on it, but it's time for us to realize today is not the day, but tomorrow could be. Then we have a couple things, and today also, the trial of Officer Chauvin trial for the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. They're on pins and needles there in Minneapolis, fearing of violent outbursts, violent protests and everything, but please don't let that happen. Let's let justice prevail, let the system work, and I don't know who's on what side of the coin. Some people feel officers should get away with whatever they want to, but if that was your family member, you wouldn't feel that way. And there's some people that feel officers should be accountable for what they've done. So let's hope justice prevails. And let's talk about history today. We have a lot of history going on today. Ronald Reagan, back in 1983 on this date, referred to the Soviet Union, the USSR, as an evil empire again. They had to calm Reagan down over his words over the years, stating that that's a conflict and that could be an act of war, saying this. So they had to calm his rhetoric down, but it is what it is. In 1971, can you believe 50 years ago already, 50 years, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier fought for the very first time, one of three, and they call it the fight of the century. No other sporting event in the history has made such newsworthy, such happiness, sadness, all in the same thing. Still controversy over the fight, who really won. And they had it on television yesterday. They showed the fight in the studio in preparation for the second fight. These two men really hated each other. Well, Ali did go over the top with his comments, the gorilla, and just downing Frazier. But it was comedy, and it sold tickets to see the fight. Unfortunately, Ali came off of a 3.5-year layoff, forced retirement, and the fight, Ali wasn't in good enough shape to take the fight at the time. He should have fought at least 3 or 4 more times before taking on a beast like Joe Frazier. But it happened, they wanted to push it, and that's the way it is. That was history today. So a lot of things, this is a big history date as well. And in 2014, the Malaysia airline flight vanished, which they still have not found. 7 years ago, were 200 people on board, and wish that would come to a conclusion as well. But this is America. We have happy times ahead of us. Spring break, Easter, summertime, and get vaccinated. Keep wearing masks. Don't take our health for granted. This is Michael Odom from Stay Awake. Remember to love your family, hug your children, kiss your spouse, and stay involved. Don't stop voting. God bless.